There's a specific kind of loneliness that doesn't happen when you're alone. It happens in a crowded room, surrounded by the people who share your blood. Picture the family dinner table. The air is thick with the clinking of silverware and polite, surface-level conversation. Everyone seems to be playing their part in a well-rehearsed play. The good child is listing their achievements. The responsible parent is nodding in approval. But then there is you. You sit there, feeling a strange vibration under the surface. You sense the tension in your father's jaw, or the quiet, simmering resentment in your mother's silence. You feel the things that are not being said. And the moment you try to speak, not even to argue, but just to express something real, something raw, the atmosphere shifts. The eyes turn to you. The polite smiles drop. You are told you are being dramatic. You are told you are too sensitive. You are told that you are ruining the mood again. If you have spent your life feeling like the outsider in your own family, if you have always felt like a puzzle piece that was carved from the wrong wood, I want you to know something. It is not because you were broken. It is not because you were difficult or unlovable or wrong. It is because you were the only one telling the truth. This is the psychology of the black sheep, and today we are going to explore why the most empathetic person in the family is so often chosen to carry the heaviest burden. To understand why the black sheep exists, we have to stop looking at the individual and start looking at the system. We like to imagine families as collections of individuals who love each other. But psychologically, a family is an organism. It is a closed system that seeks homeostasis, balance. The primary goal of a dysfunctional family system isn't growth or happiness or honesty. The primary goal is stability. It wants to keep the status quo, even if that status quo is toxic. In many families, there is a shadow, a collection of secrets, unhealed traumas, addictions, or emotional deficits that the parents are unwilling or unable to face. Perhaps the father is deeply insecure but masks it with arrogance. Perhaps the mother is terrified of abandonment but masks it with controlling perfectionism. These unacknowledged feelings create a kind of psychic pressure cooker. The anxiety has to go somewhere. The shame needs a place to live. Enter the child who feels deeply. Enter the empath. Because you were sensitive, because you were observant, you became the designated vessel for everything the family wanted to deny about themselves. In family systems theory, this is often called the identified patient. You see, if the family admits that the parents are emotionally immature, the entire structure of their reality collapses. That is too terrifying to face. So, the unconscious mind of the family makes a pact. They decide, we are not the problem. He is the problem. She is the one who is crazy. By pointing the finger at you, they can maintain the illusion that they are normal. You become the container for their chaos. When they call you too emotional, they are often projecting their own inability to regulate their emotions. When they call you rebellious, they are projecting their own suppressed desire to break free from the rigid rules they've trapped themselves in. You were not the sick one. You were simply the only one exhibiting symptoms of a sick environment.
The Swiss psychologist Carl Jung spoke extensively about the concept of the shadow. He described it as the unknown dark side of the personality. It contains everything we deny in ourselves. And Jung observed a universal law. That which we do not bring to consciousness appears in our lives as fate. In the context of the family, that which the parents do not bring to consciousness appears as you. This is the mechanism of shadow projection. It is a psychological defense mechanism where a person denies their own negative attributes and attributes them to someone else. Imagine a parent who has lived a life of total conformity. They never chased their dreams, they did what they were told, and they harbor a deep subconscious resentment about it. They cannot admit this regret to themselves. So, when they see their child acting free, wild, or artistic, they don't feel pride. They feel an inexplicable rage. They label the child irresponsible or lazy. They attack the child for the very freedom they denied themselves. As the sensitive child, the black sheep, you likely have a high degree of emotional permeability. You absorb the energy around you. You act as a mirror. When you were a child, you held up this mirror to your parents simply by existing. If they were sad but pretending to be happy, you might have started crying. You were physically enacting their suppressed truth. And for this, for showing them what they did not want to see, you were punished. This is why the black sheep is often the truth teller. You didn't necessarily speak the truth with words. You spoke it with your behavior, your anxiety, your rebellion. But the tragedy of the black sheep is that you believed their projection. When a child is told repeatedly that they are the difficult one, they internalize it. You began to believe that your sensitivity was a flaw. You began to believe that your need for authenticity was a betrayal of the family. You learned to associate love with self-betrayal. You learned that to be part of the tribe, you had to cut off parts of yourself. But because you were the black sheep, because you were the empath, you couldn't do it. You couldn't numb yourself down enough to fit in. And so the friction continued. The family needs the black sheep. Without you, they would have to turn toward each other and fight. Without you to blame for the ruined holiday, they would have to look at why they are so miserable in each other's company. You are the glue that holds their dysfunction together by accepting the role of the villain.
So, how do we survive this? How do we stop being the trash can for the family's emotional waste? The natural instinct is to try harder. We think, if I can just explain it to them, if I can just be perfect enough, they will finally see me. They will finally understand that I am not the bad guy. But this is the trap. You cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. And you cannot convince people to see a truth that their survival depends on ignoring. The solution begins with a painful but liberating realization. You have to drop the rope. You must stop accepting the projection. This is a process of psychological return. You have to mentally and sometimes physically hand back the baggage. When they say, "You are so dramatic," you must learn to say internally, "That is their discomfort with emotion, not mine." When they say, "You are selfish for setting boundaries," you must realize that is their anger at losing control, not my selfishness. This is the phase of individuation. In myths and folklore, the hero almost always has to leave the village. The black sheep is not a curse. It is a forced initiation. The family, by pushing you out, has inadvertently given you a gift. Because you never fit in, you are free. The golden child, the sibling who did everything right, who followed the rules, is often trapped forever in the parents' expectations. They are an extension of the parents' ego. But you were rejected. And in that rejection lies your autonomy. You have the opportunity to build an identity that is entirely your own. You have the chance to break the generational trauma cycle. The black sheep
is the one who looks at the long line of dysfunctional history and says, "It stops with me." This requires a type of grief. You have to grieve the family you wanted. You have to grieve the hope that they will one day wake up and apologize. They likely never will, and that is okay. Their waking up is not required for your healing.
There is a Japanese proverb that says, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." For years, you felt the blows of that hammer. You tried to flatten yourself, to dull your shine, to silence your intuition, just to smooth the surface of the wood. But the wood was rotting, and you were never meant to stay there. Being the black sheep is a painful path. Yes, it is a path of solitude, but it is also the path of the pioneer. The sensitivity that made you the target, that is your superpower. It is your capacity for deep empathy. It is your ability to detect lies. It is your connection to the human condition. The very things that made you a pariah in a dysfunctional home are the things that will make you a healer, a creator, and a leader in the real world. So the next time you feel that old sting of rejection, the next time you feel like the outsider looking in, try to shift your perspective. Don't look at the table you were excluded from with longing. Look at it with compassion and with distance. You were not the one who was broken. You were the one who was strong enough to carry the truth until you were strong enough to walk away with it. You are not the black sheep. You are the one who escaped. And out here, in the open air, you can finally breathe.